Greetings. I'm excited about this upcoming time with you and the work we're going to do together with Regional Unlimited. I've been fortunate to be part of the effort that Regional Unlimited started back in 2016 when it was formed, and I've watched it grow and evolve. From those very first interactions until now, it is clear that there is an enthusiasm for leaders in Tamworth to see its capacity grow and evolve and develop into something even more resilient and healthy. You know, the mission for 10X Tamworth is really looking to activate and release the untapped potential of your community leaders. And, you know, that's for the good of the whole. That's beyond self-interest. And that is a characteristic value that I see emerging here. Its focus is on leadership development. And, you know, my part is to join in releasing that potential. There's a constancy here that I've watched in the evolution of this movement. That one, there's a wealth of leadership resources in Tamworth. Two is that there's a number of what I would call life-giving organizations already demonstrating results here. And three is the mindset. We can make a difference together. You know, the origin of my own interest in community began when I was a young boy, and actually was because of the extended family I grew up in Memphis, Tennessee. Unfortunately, my dad died when I was 12, and that sense of community that I was nurtured in, it just appeared to dissolve around me. Such a loss has a way of taking you forward with an attempt to regain that feeling of belonging that I had in my own family. Of course, it could have gone the other way as well, but fortunately it didn't. It gave me a compelling motivation to recreate the strong sense of community in my work and life. In terms of collaboration, that is what I've found to be the key to community. It's developing a passion for leadership and organizational development at multiple levels in my life that has then led to this work that I do. And that work today is global. It's touching projects in Bangladesh, India, Israel and Palestine, Northern Ireland, South Africa, Zambia, the UK, and the US. But I won't take time on my resume. I will share 3 sets of perspectives that I bring to this project and which I look forward to sharing with you as community leaders. One is I realize that each of you is in your own right, is very much aware of these components. And I would only suggest that the 10X Tamworth project creates a context in which you are able to take your individual and organizational awareness to a community level. And the purpose of that, of course, is to build a city culture that becomes widely recognized and highly functional for the good of the whole. Now, those 3 perspectives. The first one, it has to do with what contributes to community as we are defining it. For me, there are 4 components. First is belonging. Do I and we share a common identity as members of this community? Second, emotional connection in relationship. Do I and we know each other and welcome the opportunity to know others who self-identify with the community? Third, influence. How can I and can we affect the nature and the substance of our shared lives? And finally, need fulfillment. Is what's important to me and to us acknowledged, and are efforts made to meet these needs implicit in what's important to us? The second perspective has to do with the sequence that we will be using in the 10X project. There are 3 components here. First is identity. That's recognizing that Tamworth, like any entity, has its own identity made up of many component identities. The question is, can we define ourselves as one, as opposed to defining ourselves as many competing parts? This is a leadership question. Second, vision. In our work, vision flows out of identity. When we are integrated in ourselves and with one another, vision becomes a natural expression of who we are. We're able to imagine what's possible and to move toward it. And third, strategy. With clear vision, strategies for moving toward fulfillment of that vision emerge. And there is more than enough room for multiple leaders to contribute to the fulfillment of the vision, which then reinforces that sense of shared identity. The third perspective, that is, it offers 3 approaches which we found useful in our work. The first is the 10X principle. The basic idea here is to generate exponential growth through asking big questions that challenge the existing status quo and require out-of-the-box creativity to address urgent issues in the community. Second, the level up leading. This is an approach to leadership development that works from the inside out, starting with the transformation of personal identity, which then manifests in the transformation of external reality, particularly in relation to the next tiers of leaders being influenced. And third, systemic thinking. This recognizes the interconnectivity of community ecosystems and the way in which the parts of the whole relate to one another and to the whole. Being an outsider has a real advantage because it allows me to see what local citizens may not have taken for granted. I see tremendous potential in Tamworth and believe that this project is an accelerator to bring that potential into reality. I also believe that you as city leaders are role models for what is possible in Tamworth, and I look forward to engaging with you as you join with us in the 10X Tamworth project.